Yes, YouTube family, welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything from side hustles to entrepreneurship, success, motivation, real life interviews, and obviously anything to do with life itself. So daily vlogs. Today we're talking about side hustles that I've tried whilst working full time. Now I know the majority of us actually work full time, maintain a house, and also we do the best we can to make money on the side. So if this relates to you, stay tuned. This is a video for you. I'm going to save you a lot of precious time from the experiences that I faced. Some are positive, some are negative. So here are 3 different side hustles that you could try if you want to. Without further ado, let's go. Number 1, Amazon KDP. Pros, residual income. It is something that when you produce content, right, just like YouTube, it will stay on there forever. Amazon is not going anywhere. It's I think it is the largest marketplace in the world. So if you want traffic, if you want sales, this is the place to go. People still purchase books, hard copies and Kindle as well, through Amazon. So it's taken the market by storm. It has the largest market share. If you're looking to do something where you can become creative, or you're quite computer literate and you're confident on the computer, this is something you could definitely do. You make it once and then it's just constant money, okay? It's fairly easy to learn. I mean, there's a few complications which I'll go into detail in the cons, but it is fairly easy. Most people that are doing it are just people that can use, their internet browser and your simple software systems, for example, like Canva and Midjourney, Discord, so things like that. Those are the things that I've used on YouTube to teach me, and then I've implemented it myself, pretty much from just watching YouTube videos and then trying it. It did take a couple of times, but it was definitely one of the easiest online things that I did content-wise, and I've actually made a few colouring books that have stayed on Amazon still now to this day, and all it required was just a little bit of advertising. Once you get past the software downloads, it's pretty easy to do. You do the same thing again and again and the money comes in, okay? There's a low cost entry, so it's not very expensive. Midjourney costs me £11 a month, which is an AI system that's embedded in Discord. Obviously you type the prompts into the AI and then it generates your images if you're doing colouring books. If you want to write a book, we want to make storybooks, you can still do that, but I would use ChatGPT rather than Midjourney, and then you can humanize your chapters or your actual story by using other AI bots like Quillbot. So you can put your own general idea into something, but you don't have to spend hours and hours and just writing a book like we used to. So that is a great way to leverage your time and be as productive as possible without spending, months on a book. So it is quite cheap to get started. The only thing that's going to cost you is maybe a software download and obviously the electricity to run your computer. That's pretty much it. And then the ghostwriters. And if you really want to push your book out there, then yes, of course, you can put a couple £100 into advertisements through the Amazon actual advertisement service. That's about it. It's quite simple. The pros are there. I found it's quite a positive thing to do. It hasn't really been negative for me, but there are cons to this, and it can take a while, like I said, to get the hang of things. I wasn't confident in Discord. I was brand new to Discord when it came out, and I didn't know how to put Midjourney and connect it and link it to my account. That confused me, but now looking back, that was super simple. But for first timer, it is quite confusing. And if you're not confident on a computer, I would say if 10 was people who work at IBM and code things for the military, or people who design websites and different software systems and games, and that's a 10, I would say I'm about a 5 or a 6. So I'm not crazy literate, but I'm good at using a computer. I don't know everything, but I can do some things. And if you're kind of in the middle like me, it can take you a little while, okay? Tax and setting up Amazon KDP was a palaver. That was a bit of a mission, only because it's confusing when you say you want to market your book in different continents like America, and then you have to use your IBAN or your international banking account number, so that when money is made in that country or sold to that market, it can be taxed locally into your country, your bank account. And that was a little bit confusing to me. And when it comes to listing it, you can't list your book until you've sorted that. So tax and actually listing your book in different markets is quite confusing, but there are obviously YouTube videos about it. And the same again, it just took me a couple of tries and a few hours actually to get my Amazon KDP back office up and running. Okay, you need at least another con as well. You need at least about 8 gigs of RAM, gigabytes of RAM to pretty much run the software and just to speed up your processing and uploads, things like that. Anything to do with digital content, I won't recommend using an older computer. You have to have something that's slightly up to date. Doesn't have to be, really high end. It just has to be something which is capable. I mean, I financed an interest-free computer. It's like a £700 computer from Curry's, and I was able to. It's 30 quid a month, and it's interest-free. So, and I was able to generate a side hustle from that, and it worked. So the computer I had before was just a Chromebook, and it wasn't really up to speed of what I needed. So I needed to upgrade, but it can be done. There are deals out there, especially during winter time or Black Friday, where you can seize the deal. And actually Christmas is the best time for Amazon KDP. So if you were thinking about starting a side hustle, or maybe you were looking at doing something in summer, it can be in like all year long. But if you wanted to do something seasonal, you definitely can do something seasonal on Amazon KDP as well. But get yourself a good computer, get yourself a deal, either like the spring or summer deals. They always pop about. You know what these large companies are like. They always brag about their discounts. So yeah, it is also a very saturated market. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this because I'm not a professional at Amazon KDP. All I know is that there are hundreds of thousands of listings of colouring books, and to stand out, to look like you're a professional at this, it's quite difficult. I mean, you have to have a few really, really highly rated books, and the way it works is the more reviews you have, the more 5 stars you have, the more higher up on the page in the listings view you're going to be, and that doesn't come unless you put a little bit of money into adverts. It's just not going to work for you organically. I'm telling you now, okay? Because I left it for a few months and it wasn't working because you're so down on the ranking. You're not going to get any sales. It's just the way it goes. It is very, very highly saturated, and it is competitive. So if you manage to find a niche, then by all means go for it and attack it. If you think you found something that no one's really done before, and you can see a gap in the market, then do it. I went with children's colouring books, and I tried different. I did things like seasonal stuff, and I did also general books where it was like beasts and sea beasts and mythical creatures, just something slightly different and slightly out there. And then I looked at what worked and then multiplied on that. Okay, so we do need some money to advertise. I've already spoken about that. Amazon does take quite a lot of money for publishing each book for you. Now, I think the last time I checked, it was about 40%. So every book that gets published by Amazon, don't forget they're printing it, they're putting their name on it, that it came from Amazon, because it is Amazon Kindle publishing, right? But you can publish hard copies. I know it's confusing with the Kindle stuff. They will charge you as a factory to produce your books. And imagine if you're putting a book up for a tenner, right? £4 of that is theirs, and then you've got your advertising costs as well. I don't think it's included with delivery, so you have to bear this in mind. You have to charge enough for your book for you to make a decent amount of profit, and the effort. But once obviously the book's made, it just works for you. So there's the pros and cons for Amazon KDP. Let's move on to the second side hustle that I tried whilst being in full-time work. This was a few years ago. I saw this was a viral trending project that was all over YouTube, and it is vending machines. I give this one a 4 out of 5. It is a very, very, very good side hustle, and I'll get to the bottom of why I had to stop it. Pros: no licenses, no fees. If you find a shop or a business where you can get set up and they take a percentage of your sales for a month or a week, right, then you technically are not paying any kind of ground rent or charges. You're just taking a cut off the profit that's made. And the good thing about that is that if there's no profit made in that week, and you can show them statements if you've got a card reader, you can show them the money in the bottom of the coin slots. If there's any money in there, obviously they get that percentage. Even if it's £2, if it's 5%, they'll get 10p. That's just the way it goes, That is a good little entryway to get in. You just use a percentage rate of the shop. It is a very good sellable business because I was able to grow my account on Nyax, which is the line charge for having a card payment service. I was able to grow my accounts for a good 6 or 7 months. I tripled it, and I was figuring out what products sold really well, and I was able to sell the business for, I think it was 3.5 times more than what I paid for the machine and all my costs. So it was in turn a profitable business. If you buy a machine outright, then it's very profitable. If you lease your machine, then it's not as profitable, but can be profitable. It's also a lot more easier to sell and move on, rather than going through the process of moving a lease onto someone else and signing loads of paperwork. You can literally just sell the machine to someone and have a kind of written agreement that just says, I sell this machine to so and so, and give the right to all the stock inside it. So it is a very easy sellable business. It's easy and attractive as well. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. Stock can be in machines for long periods of time. Depends on what you sell. If you're selling like fizzy drinks or energy drinks in a gym, or let's say pre-workout in a gym, it can be something that lasts, a year, 2 years, and it won't be dead stock until it's actually out of date or expired. So that's another pro. You're not going to have stuff which expires quickly, and you don't have to get rid of that stock every single week or 2 weeks. So first get into your head what you want to sell and where do you want to sell your products, and where do you want to put your vending machine, what places are you targeting. And I promise you, once you have that down, you won't be as worried, because you'll know that you've got a lot of time for your product or food to get sold. You have to pay for like the initial setup of buying a vending machine, and then having the line rental, buying the stock from like warehouses and wholesalers. But then after that, it just comes in. You have to obviously go and refill your vending machine, but the money comes in at the end of the week, or if you go twice a week, the money's there, and you get those payments from the card reader. The cons are obviously the initial cost of the machine. That's self-explanatory. The line charge, I use Nyax, which is pretty necessary because everyone has a card now. Not many people keep change. If you want sales, you're going to have the reader. Just bear that in mind. You have to find a busy location, and with a busy location means that you're going to have to refill it all the time. It's not really a bad thing, in my opinion. It's just, if it's a bad thing in your life, if you're doing loads of hours, then yeah, it can be a bit frustrating. The maintenance service agreements. So if you're paying for maintenance service, which is sometimes given to you when you buy a vending machine from like a wholesale vending machine manufacturer, then they can offer you an agreement where they come out for 12 months and you can refresh it. But just bear that charge in mind. Mine was something like £29 a month. So it is well worth it. If your machine breaks, then it does get fixed. But you only find out your machine is broken if you attend to fill up your machine all the time. No one's going to really tell you. Some businesses also will require a pat test, and that also is another charge. Unless you're an electrician, it's just another charge that's going to be added on to you. Some dead stock will always be there. They will reveal itself. No matter what you think, everything always sells, it doesn't. Some people have taste preferences, and things will just end up becoming dead stock. Okay. Finding a location can be frustrating in the beginning. You will ring up a few places and then sometimes you'll just get straight up no's. I'll give you a hint. You have to look at concession emails, because a lot of large retailers or franchises, they have a concessions email where they specifically talk to PR or people who want to rent a small space in their shop or business that they can obviously gain money from, because they're making another income from you and you're making business out of it. So that is the main cons of it. And obviously leasing the machine is the most costly option, so your margins will be a lot smaller than buying a machine outright, and that's the initial cost. So that's one of the bigger costs, and that's also can be a con for people if they don't have a lot of money. I paid about £1,500 for my machine, and it was a decent machine. It was a very good machine. eBay. Moving on to the third side hustle, and something that I'm currently doing now as well. The pros, they're very simple, and it's very good. You know, you can list 100k of worth of products before coming a business. So you're technically self-employed. You're just a single person who is listing products, and you can either upload 999 products live or £100,000 worth of sales. It's very easy to set up an account. Obviously, it's a very large platform, just like Amazon. It takes up one of the largest market shares of a marketplace. And they also have integrated services like Packlink, which is a printing slip service, and it's tied to Yodel, Every, Royal Mail, all the large packaging or logistics services that are available in the UK and your own country. So that's also integrated in, so it makes it super easy to just set up and print from home. There's good margins if you buy wholesale or pallets, and obviously if you can get free stuff, that's even better. And one of the best things, I think, I'll leave it for last, is it can be ran from your smartphone. I have a busy lifestyle where everything is done from my smartphone, including YouTube. You can run eBay from your smartphone pretty easily. Just turn on all your notifications and you'll be told when someone's watching your item, when you can give you, when someone's, you know, wants to, they want to offer you some money for the item, so a lower price, and you get notified straight away. And 9 out of 10 times I accept the offer and just get the sale, because you're trying to move on. In this kind of business, you just need to have fluidity, and you know, you want to keep it liquid. Sell, 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 move on to the next product. The cons of eBay, right? You need to drop your parcels daily or every other day if you've got constant sales. That's the something that I sometimes struggle to deal with. However, most corner shops or like Premier, Morrison's, Tesco and Sainsbury's, they are open quite late, and their parcel delivery service, they can sometimes leave it behind the till. If you get to know them, they're quite nice to you. Negative feedback in the beginning is a massive momentum killer. I had one guy give me negative feedback, and it dropped my my percentage from 99.9 to positive feedback percentage to like 86. And that was terrible for me. So I had to build it back up, and now it's at 97. So it's still working. The more sales you make and the more happy people you get, you know, the higher you'll be. So I make sure I package it really quickly, and I sell it at a decent price, and you just make sure they're happy for it. Really, you answer their questions whenever they send you a message. That's what it is. It's just customer service. Another con as well is it's a little bit of a learning curve if you don't know what to sell. Once you find a product that sells, or a group of products that sell, like a niche, then you are on your way to making some money on YouTube. Otherwise, before that, you're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping for it to stick. It's quite difficult. Like, I've sold stamps, I've sold bulbs, I've sold tools, I've sold everything from buying pallets and then just buying closing down stock from warehouses, and some things work, some things don't. Another con, you're going to need a little bit of space if it's a larger item. So if you don't have a lot of space, or you live in a flat, or you don't have a spare room, or you're just using the space in your room, you need to find a small product. Okay, it's crucial. And also it lowers packaging costs if you do that. Just beware. So that can be a deciding factor for you. I do not pay for any packaging, but most people will be. Now, how I get around this is by speaking to warehouses or working in warehouses where I have just taken the recycled boxes, I've asked them, and like things like bubble wrap, you know, sometimes they just have a bin for it. You can grab that stuff. If it's still good to go, you can grab it and use it again. It's free. It's free real estate. It's free. So don't be afraid to use recycled things. As long as it's in good nick, you can get away with using that. In fact, some people like it. People like the fact that you're being sustainable and care about the environment. Another con is PayPal can sometimes withhold your funds if you don't verify your ID. I struggled with this a lot because of the ID checks and to do with tax again. So if you are not someone who's completely up to date with your own documents or online with your own ID services with government and tax records, then PayPal might be a little bit difficult for you. And if you're someone who doesn't look after their passwords, also it can be like a trap where you're just in a loop of PayPal finding your password, forgot your password, trying to get your ID. And it can be frustrating in the beginning. But once that's all set up, you know, you get paid every single Wednesday, and you have the pack link services, which is also tied to your eBay balance or your PayPal, or you can attach it to your debit card. So it's fairly instant, but the cons are there for eBay. But for me, the pros definitely outweigh it. You just have to make sure you get a very good niche or product to start with. Those are the three side hustles I believe that were quite successful for me, and they were the easiest learning curve out of all the other things that I've tried in my life and were attainable whilst working full time. The first one, Amazon KDP, I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Obviously Amazon is different to Amazon KDP. That's another story, that's a whole nother video. Vending machines, 4 out of 5. That's a good solid business and it's sellable, it's brick and mortar. eBay right now for me is a 5 out of 5. I think it's perfect. Like for my lifestyle right now and how easy it is to manage on the phone, I think it's perfect. So in that order, obviously bronze, silver and gold. That's what I'm doing right now, or what I have tried. I hope you guys found this video useful in some kind of way. If you have some kind of question with one of these side hustles that I've mentioned, please drop a comment and I will do my best to comment and help you. Obviously give it a like if you found it useful, and subscribe guys, because I post daily. Love you long time. Good night.
Got me feeling like AJ at Wembley. I got a house in the sticks, I'm living stress free. God bless me, guide me, protect me.